You woke up this morning and something just wasn't right. Not wrong exactly. Nothing happened. Nobody called with bad news. You didn't get into a fight. Work is fine. Life on paper is fine. But something in you just feels a little bit off, like you're wearing your own life a little crooked. Like you're you, but not quite. And the worst part isn't even the feeling itself, it's that you can't explain it. Because how do you fix something you can't even name? If you're watching this right now, I want you to know something before we go any further. You are not broken, and you are definitely not the only one. What you're feeling has a name, it has a reason, and this is the part I really want you to stay for. It actually has something important to tell you. So don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video, that weird, unsettled, can't quite land feeling is going to make a whole lot more sense. Welcome to the Bold Life Suite. I'm Joanne. Let's get into it. So I want to start by telling you something that happened to me recently, because this video didn't come from research. It came from a Tuesday where I felt completely unlike myself. I couldn't settle. I kept moving from room to room. I got in my car. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to get out and go somewhere, because staying still felt impossible. I kept asking myself, what's wrong with me? Everything is fine, so why don't I feel fine? I just feel weird. And that question, what is wrong with me, is exactly the wrong question. I know that now, but in the moment when you're in it, that's where your brain goes. We're wired to look for the problem, name the problem, fix the problem. And when there's no obvious problem to point to, we start wondering if the problem is us. It's not. And I want to spend this whole video proving that to you. Let's start with what's actually happening in your brain and body on a day like this. Because once you understand the mechanics of it, it stops being so scary, because it does feel weird when it happens. The first thing to know is that your nervous system is always working, even when you're not aware of it. It's constantly scanning your environment, processing information, managing stress, regulating your mood, monitoring energy levels. It never clocks out. And here's the thing about that. When it gets overloaded, when it's been running hot for too long, it doesn't always send you a neat, clear signal, like, hey, I'm overwhelmed. Sometimes it just sends static, that restless, unsettled feeling, the I don't know what I need feeling. That's often your nervous system sending static. It's not a breakdown, it's a signal. A noisy, confusing one, but a signal. Research actually backs this up. When your brain has been overstimulated for long periods of time, and we're talking about the constant information, the decisions, the notifications, the mental load of just being a functioning adult in this world, it loses its ability to properly rest. So even when nothing specific is wrong, even on a quiet day, your brain stays on alert. It keeps scanning, and what you feel on the outside is that edgy, can't sit still, something feels off sensation. It's not a comfortable sensation. It's not you falling apart, though. It's your brain stuck in a gear it doesn't know how to shift out of on its own. Now, there's a second reason that this happens, and this one is the one that really got me when I learned it. Sometimes you feel off, not because something is wrong, but because something is ready to change. There's research on adult development that found something really interesting. Adults tend to move through cycles, roughly 6 to 8 years of relative stability, followed by a period of transition and restlessness. The researchers called these developmental turning points. And what they found is that restlessness often shows up before you consciously know that change is coming. Your deeper self, the part of you that knows you better than your to-do list, starts to feel the pull towards something different before your thinking mind is caught up. Think about that for a second. The restlessness isn't the problem. The restlessness might be the preview. I was shocked by this. One researcher put it this way, and I love this image. It's like being a crab or a snake that's outgrown its shell or its skin. The life you're in still fits on paper. You're still showing up, still functioning, but internally something has gotten bigger than the container. And the tension between the two is what shows up as that unsettled feeling. You haven't done anything wrong. You might just be outgrowing something. And your body knew before your brain did. There's a third reason too. And this one is about alignment, or the quiet loss of it. Sometimes we drift, not dramatically, not in ways anyone would really notice from the outside, We just slowly start spending more time doing things that don't really reflect who we actually are or what we actually value and what we want. We say yes to things we should say no to. We shrink certain parts of ourselves to fit in certain spaces. We get busy and we stop doing the small things that used to fill us up. And we do all of this gradually enough that there's no single moment that we can actually point to and say, that's when it happened. But the self keeps score. And when there's been enough drift, enough of a gap between how you're living and who you actually are, it starts to show up as a low level wrongness. A feeling that something is off, even when you can't explain it, you can't say what. That restlessness might be your sense of self quietly knocking on the door saying, hey, I'm still here. Can we talk? That's not a crisis. That's actually a really good sign. It means the real you hasn't gone anywhere. It's just asking for a little more room. Okay, so now that we understand what might be behind the feeling, let's talk about what we can actually do about it. Because I don't want to just explain it and send you on your way. I want you to have something practical that you can use the next time this hits. And it will hit again because this is part of being human. The first thing, and this one sounds almost too simple, is to stop fighting the feeling. I know that goes against every instinct. When something feels wrong, we want to fix it or push through it or distract ourselves out of it. I've done this myself. But here's what the research actually shows. When you respond to restlessness by piling on more activity, more stimulation, and more busyness, you don't resolve it. You postpone it. You basically are pressing snooze on a signal that is just going to get louder. The feeling doesn't need to be fixed. It just needs to be heard. So step one is to just let it be there without making it mean something terrible about you. The second thing is to get out of your head and into your body. And I mean that literally. Movement is one of the most well-researched tools we have for shifting a dysregulated nervous system. Not intense, punishing exercise, just movement. A walk, some stretching, anything that gets you out of the spiral in your mind and into the physical reality of your body. When I got in my car on that Tuesday, I eventually ended up walking. And I didn't feel fixed when I was done, but I felt like myself again, in a way that I hadn't an hour before. Your body can regulate what your brain cannot always talk its way out of. Now, the third thing is to get honest, gently honest, about whether there's some drift happening. Not in a way that makes you spiral into self-criticism, just a quiet check-in. Ask yourself, is there something I've been ignoring? Is there something I've been saying yes to that I actually really want to say no to? Is there a part of me that hasn't had room lately? You don't have to answer all of it today. The point is just to open the door a crack and let some light in so that you can see it. Because sometimes the off feeling, it lifts the moment you simply acknowledge what's underneath it. It just wanted to be noticed. And the fourth thing, this one matters for those of you who are in a season of growth or transition, is to let the restlessness be information without forcing it to be a decision. If part of what you're feeling is that developmental pull, that sense of something is ready to shift, you don't have to know what it is yet. You don't have to have a plan. You just have to stay open. Restlessness that comes from growth doesn't need to be solved right now. It just needs to be trusted. I want to close with this because I think it's the most important thing I can leave you with today. We live in a world that treats every uncomfortable feeling like a problem to be solved, a problem to be eliminated as fast as possible. Feel anxious? Fix it. Feel sad? Push through it. Feel off? Scroll past it. And the result is that a lot of us have gotten really good at outrunning our own inner signals and really bad at listening to them. We have these feelings for a reason, but your feelings, even the uncomfortable, nameless, hard to explain ones, they're not your enemy. They are information. They are your system working. The restless day, the off feeling, the I don't know what I need Tuesday, and that's not you malfunctioning, okay? That is just you being human in the fullest sense of the word. And the more you can meet those feelings with curiosity instead of panic, the more they become useful to you instead of frightening. You felt off today. That's okay. Now you know a little more about why. And that knowledge, that shift from what is wrong with me to what is my mind trying to tell me, that right there is growth. That is exactly the kind of work this channel is about. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.